In this lesson, we'll look at how we can add tread to the tires. So here in Photoshop, I've just got the UV map that we've output using the UV snapshot, and this is of the tire, and I've just inverted that. So this is the area where we want the tread to be, okay, and these are the two sides, okay, and this is going to be the side facing out, and this is going to be the interior of the tire, which we don't need to worry about. So for the tread, we just want some sort of a repeating pattern. You can use any kind of a tread image that you want. I wanted to go with something a little bit different, so I got this sort of a circuit board pattern that I thought we could use for our tire tread. And any sort of repeating pattern that can go along the length here is something that you can use. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my UV snapshot here. So I'll select all, copy it, and I'll paste it in here. Alright, let's go ahead and bring it above the tread and set that to multiply so we can see what we're doing here. And now we can take this pattern that we have and kind of move it down. And you can see right now it's too big, so we'll go ahead and scale this a little bit. So I just want it to come to the edge of that line there. Apply the transform. Okay, and you can see that we're running into issues because it's too short. So what we need to do now, once we get that scaled down, is repeat this. So we'll push it all the way to the side there. Okay, and then I'll hold down Alt and Shift and drag this across. Alt Shift, drag it across, but not all the way to another file. And then we need to work on the seam here. So I'll go ahead and turn off that for the moment. I'm going to move this back right in there. Alright. And turn these both to normal. And then we can get rid of this white image here. Go ahead and just paint that out, erase that. You can see that some of it is not being erased. It's because it's on the other layer. Alright. So we'll go to the other layer and paint that out as well. Just back and forth until we get that white painted out. Okay, and you can see there are some areas in here where there's a little bit of strangeness. So we can just get a white color and sort of paint over that. Fix some of those little areas there. But you don't have to be too cautious. And that gives us a little bit more of a repeating pattern. I can select both of these and just merge those together, merge layers, and then choose the soft light again. So now what's going to happen is the gray is going to be raised up just a little bit, and the black is going to be pushed in. So that's going to be our tread. And you can see there are a couple issues here. You can just go in and fix those with our paintbrush. So we'll get a black color, dial our brush size down quite a bit so we can get in there. And we can just draw that straight across. And same thing down here. So any of those little areas you see on that seam you can fix up. Then we'll do a soft light. And so now we can add some actual wording along here. So let's put in some words, and we want these to be raised up. So we'll make these kind of a lighter gray. Okay, we can just go to our text tool and just do something like, I don't know, performance racing. And we probably want these to be in caps actually. Okay, we want the color to be this sort of a gray color, light gray. Okay, and this is probably a little bit too big, so we can scale it down a little bit. Make it 18 points perhaps. And just kind of put it into place there. Okay. And then if you want to put any other kind of text there, you can do that as well. So you can just put some numbers here. Have a look on some of the tires around and see what those look like. And maybe one more. There's something to add some interest here, and I'll put it over here on this side. So this is going to be the kind of the wall of the tire, the outer wall that we're going to have this on. Now let's go ahead and create a couple of ridges here. So I'm going to go get my line tool right here, and let's make it 1 or 2 pixels, and we'll make it that same gray, and we'll just bring it across here. I'm going to hold down Shift so it comes across nice and straight. I can turn that off, and it looks black until you click off of it. And you can see it gives you a little ridge there. And I can duplicate that. If I select that, hold down Alt, and drag that down, and I can put that little ridge on there as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this out and apply this to our tire and see how it looks. So we'll go ahead and save that, and I'll just save it as a JPEG and call that shred and underscore BMP for bump, and say OK. And now let's go ahead and jump back into Maya, and let's first apply a material here, and we're going to apply like a black fong, so or a blend. Let me go ahead and create a blend, I think, and just dial that color down, dial the reflectivity down a bit, take the specular color down, tighten up the spec a little, and now in the bump map, go ahead and apply that file. So we'll go in here to our bump value, image name, and we'll go find the tread bump. Okay, and that's going to be applied using the UV map. So let's go ahead and apply that to our tire. And let's take a look at how that looks at this point. Go ahead and do a render here, and I'll go ahead and pause as this renders up. So that's a little bit too extreme, so let's go ahead and dial that bump down, and dial down our, maybe bring up the value there a little bit. So I'll go into the bump map and take this down to maybe 0.5. Okay, take the color up just a little bit. And let's broaden out the spec a little. You go ahead and do another render, and again I'll pause right here. And that looks better, but still I think it's a little bit too much. So we'll go back in here and take this bump down to maybe 0.2. And again, re-render and pause. Now that's looking better. It's definitely a different look than the typical tread you might get, so it's good to try something different once in a while. Alright, so go ahead and apply that to our other tires. And let's go ahead and in the next lesson, let's finish up by looking at how we can set some final gather settings so that we can get a nice looking render out. So we'll do that in the last lesson coming up next.